Hello, my brothers and sisters from Africa, in Africa, and those of you from all over the world. How are you guys doing? I hope everyone is fine, and I hope everyone is doing his or her best to make their lives better. And I understand that we from the African continent, especially those of us from Nigeria, are facing a lot of um, economic crisis. Like inflation is over the roof, and we can barely afford anything to eat. I understand all that, but I just want to say that tough times don't last; only tough people do. And most importantly, we the people must be able to choose our leaders carefully, because if we choose a bad leader, that leader is going to do a terrible job when they get into office. We must be able to choose a leader who is going to fight for us. We must be able to choose a leader who is going to defend us. We must be able to choose a leader whom we trust will deliver for us. Not all those who will come and make empty promises and only to go back on their words after they get the position that they were looking for. I hope the things that are going on in Nigeria will become an eye opener for all of us. We will learn from this and try our best not to repeat it again. So, enough of that. Let's get through some of the stories making the headlines from continental Africa. UN condemns Ghana's anti-LGBTQ plus bill, calls for it not to become law. So the UN has condemned the latest anti-LGBTQ plus bill that has been passed by the Ghanaian parliament. They have said that it's unnecessary, it's unfair, and it's unjust for people in the LGBTQ community. Now, I have made my position about this very clear, and I have faced some backlash from people in Africa, whom I think they have their rights. They have the right to say whatever they want to say. They have the right to their own opinion. And some of them have even gone so far to become very, very rude. But then again, they have the right to do so. Not something I am appreciating, but I think they have the right to do so. And I also have a right to my own thoughts and opinion. And like I have said before, I am really against all this because I believe that it doesn't help us get better. That's just my take on it. But let's continue with the article, and then I will give you my take after that. A bill which criminalizes LGBTQ plus people and their supporters in Ghana drew international condemnation Thursday after it was passed by Parliament, with the United Nations calling it profoundly disturbing and urging for it not to become law. In a statement, Ravenna, spokeswoman for the Office of the UN High Commissioner, said the bill broadens the scope of criminal sanctions against lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people simply for being who they are, and threatens criminal penalties against those perceived as their allies. Consensual same sex conduct should never be criminalized. The bill, if it becomes law, will be corrosive and will have a negative impact on society as a whole, she said. The bill, which was voted through by Parliament in the West African nation on Wednesday, was first introduced 3 years ago. It criminalizes relationships, sexual activity, and public displays of affection between members of the LGBTQ plus community. It also targets their supporters and the promotion and funding of LGBTQ related activities. Those convicted could face up to a decade in prison. The bill has been sent to the president's desk to be signed into law. Ghana has generally been considered to be more respectful of human rights than most African countries, but since the legislation passed through parliament, international condemnation has grown. So this has been a very controversial in the Ghanaian society, and many people have voiced their concern both in support and in opposition to the bill. I really do not find the need for this because I know that when things like this are put in place, when laws are put in place that target a minority, there are rooms for this law to be abused. When laws like this are put in place that are so discriminative in nature, room for abuse are wide open. For example, if someone were to accuse you of being a member in the LGBTQ community, I don't think the policemen wanna devote or delegate enough resources into investigating thoroughly if the said accused person is guilty or not. They won't do that because there's already a stigma related to the issue. So if you are being accused, if someone blackmail you with things like this, I am quite sure you are in for the long haul. I am quite sure your chances of getting out of it will be very, very slim. So let's continue with a related article about the same topic. US deeply troubled by Ghana's anti-LGBTQ legislation. The United States has also echoed a similar sentiment about the anti-LGBTQ plus law or bill in Ghana. And they have said that this is a very troubling thing. If Ghana is taking this route, it won't end well for them. Now, I really don't appreciate outsiders getting involved with African internal policies. Okay. I really do not appreciate America telling us what to do, how to do, where to do, and stuff like that. I really do not appreciate it. America should let us fight our own battles. Now, the anti-LGBTQ plus bill is totally unnecessary. It's garbage, in my own opinion. But I do not welcome support or whatever from outsiders, because at the end of the day, they are not fighting for the interests of those LGBTQ people in Ghana. That's not what they are fighting for. That's not what this statement is. That's not what it is. They are only trying to portray how powerful they are. They are only trying to let everyone knows that they are a bigger power and they could just get themselves involved into issues that does not concern them. That's all what they are just trying to do. Let's continue with the article. The United States expressed concern over Ghana's new law, which is making identifying as LGBTQ plus illegal, saying it threatens freedoms. The U.S. State Department is calling for a review of the law's constitutionality, warning it could harm public health, media, and the economy. On Thursday morning, the U.S. Embassy in Ghana also, in an X post, expressed similar concern. The law passed Wednesday imposes up to 3 years in prison for identifying as LGBTQ+, and up to 5 years for supporting LGBTQ plus group. I am saddened because some of the smartest, most creative, most decent people I know are LGBT. The bill Parliament passed takes away not only their basic human rights, but those of all Ghanaians because it undermines their constitutional rights to freedom of speech. Rights groups, including Rightify Ghana, strongly criticized the legislation, calling it regressive and a threat to LGBTQ plus rights. UN AIDS Executive Director Whitney said the bill, if it becomes law, could incite violence by Ghanaians against their fellow citizens. She said that it would obstruct access to life-saving services, undercut social protection, and jeopardize Ghana's development success. The bill will be presented to President Nana Akufo-Addo, after which he will have 7 days to notify the Speaker of the Parliament whether he assents to the bill or not, according to Ghanaian's constitution. President Nana Akufo-Addo is in a very tight situation, very tight corner. On one hand, he might want to be a little bit sympathetic with LGBTQ people, right? He might not want to offend the Westerners because, after all, they are the one funding Ghana. No matter what we think or like, Ghana is on a life support. And I have said this many, many times that Ghana is like a sinking ship that is just being supported or have just like a rope attached to it so that it doesn't sink. So if that rope is cut off, Ghana will sink. The IMF and World Bank bailout are the only thing keeping Ghana afloat. So this new anti-LGBTQ law might undermine this deal that they had with the IMF and World Bank. And on the other hand, Nana Akufo-Addo might want to appease the parliamentarians and the conservatives, the traditionalists, and so on and so forth. He might not want to offend them. And I know he's not going in for a next term, but he might want the party to win the next election. There might be pressure on him to sign the bill into law. Or the bill might just be put on hold and waiting for the new leader to sign it into law. Like I have said before, I do not appreciate Westerners getting involved in African affairs. I do not appreciate that. In as much as I disagree with the bill, in as much as I disagree with Ghanaian politicians, I totally do not like them at all, and I think they do not do anything to serve Ghana or the people. They are just there to serve themselves, and they will do whatever it takes to divide the people, because they have understood that the only way they can deflect from all their failures, the only way they can distract the Ghanaian people is to bring worthless things like this, so that we will be there hating each other. We will be there fighting against our fellow brothers and sisters. We will be there fighting against our neighbors. While they, the politicians, will be living a luxurious life. Ask yourself, the Ghanaian people, my brothers and sisters, ask yourself, those parliamentarians passing this bill, don't they realize that the country is suffering? Don't they realize that the only thing keeping Ghana afloat is the bailout? And this bill might affect the bailout conditions? Don't they realize that? Okay, if they really want to protect Ghana, if they really want to make Ghana a more prosperous and nice and a family-oriented society, don't they think that stamping out corruption is a great thing? Shouldn't it be first? Don't they think that stamping out bribery is very important? Because after all, you don't want your child to be corrupted. You don't want your child to have to pay bribe in order to get anything done. You don't want that. Okay. Won't they stamp out misappropriation of public funds and, most importantly, embezzlement? Aren't those things very important? Why is nobody doing anything? Why is no politician arrested, prosecuted, and then jailed, or a method be put in place for them to return the stolen wealth? Why is nobody talking about that? Why is Parliament not doing anything? Because to the best of my knowledge, Ghana is full with corrupted politicians. But you know what? You know what? They don't make bills for themselves, right? They do not penalize themselves. Because if there is this very harsh law and enforceable law that goes after embezzlers and corruptors and those who collect bribes or those who give bribes, majority of the people who will be caught will be politicians, will be those lawmakers. They will be the one being dragged to prison. So they will never make such a law, talk less of even trying to enforce it. They will never do that. But they would pass anti-LGBTQ law, and they will make sure that the police enforce this law. Because what? They are going after the masses. They are targeting the masses. They are making sure that they broke the masses into major fractions. They split them apart. They distract them from the important things that the masses are supposed to be thinking about or holding those leaders accountable for. They will make sure they distract everybody while they steal and loot from the country. They make sure we do not pay attention to what they've done or what they are doing. And why we are distracted, why we are busy in fighting each other, why we are there calling each other names. You are bad, I am good. You are the worst person, I'm the better person. Why we glorify ourselves? Why condemning others? Why we wear the moral supremacy hat and trample on others? Do you know what they are doing? They are looting, they are stealing, they are destroying our future. They have stolen so much money from us, from the public coffers. They've not paved the road. They've not built the hospitals. They've not buy the medical equipment. They've not done anything. What have they done so far? They've managed to distract us. They've managed to pit us against each other. They've succeeded in setting confusion among us. And what have we done? We have simply fallen in line. We have just get along, just move along, just follow along. That's what we've done. That's just what we've done.